Hey everybody, Jerkfett here with another video, this time bringing you guys a special video. This is my entry into Silver Age comic books, 100 subscriber contest, and pretty much what you have to do to enter and what you'll get if you win is, the prizes are, if you get second place, you get to choose from one of a few prize packs of comic books from all the way from the 2000s to like the 70s. And if you get first place, you get a prize pack of 3 Silver Age comic books, which that's like from the 1960s, in case you didn't know, like, the age of comic books. So, really cool contest. Go check it out. I'll have a link to the contest video in the description below. And it's pretty much what you have to do to get entered into this contest is you have to do one of a few things. You can do your Silver Age comic books collection, which I do not really have any. Maybe I have 1 or 2 Silver Age comic books, so I can't really do that. It'll just be 1 or 2 videos. You can do your Amazing Spider-Man comic book collection, which again, I only really have 1 or 2 actual issues of Amazing Spider-Man. Or you can do your favorite comic, or you can do your comic collection if it's not that huge. So my comic book collection is not the largest on the planet, trust me, but I do have a few notable comics, a few signed ones, which I'd like to share with you guys that I think is pretty cool. So hopefully you guys agree, and again, I'll have a link to the contest video in the description below if you want to check it out and enter it for yourself. So let's go check out the comics. So here we are with my comic book collection. Yeah, I know it's a lot to take in from a distance. I tried to do like 1 issue all on my bed, like 1 issue per stack, but then towards the end I decided to start to do stacks. I had to start stacking, excuse me. Sorry for the glare, but you know, so these comic books are in protective cases, reflecting light, and it's kind of miserable outside right now. It's all overcast. So when it's overcast, it's a perfect day to do videos, you know. So let's go on. Starting in this corner, comic book that I'm really proud of. This is Transformers Devastations issue number 4. And I met the artist at New Orleans, the 2011 New Orleans comic book. You can see he signed it for me. R. Musso, I think it's Robbie Musso. Yeah, sorry, it's 2 years since I met the guy, but he was really kind at the time. I'm really glad I got a chance to meet him. He did not the artwork on the cover, but he did the artwork on the inside, which is really good. And you can see he addressed it to me, to Logan. Really cool cover, even though he didn't draw it. Optimus Prime fighting Dinobot. I think that might be, I don't know, why would he be fighting? I don't know. So yeah, anyway, so. And there's a chick screaming, like, oh my goodness, there's Autobots and Decepticons. And there's an advertisement on the back. But I have that in a protective casing because it is autographed, and I'm very proud to have that. Next up we have Captain America issue number something, I don't really know. It doesn't really say on the front what it is. But it's got the Winter Soldier fighting Captain America, pretty cool. It's from like 6 years ago, I think. Here's a like comic 2-pack that I got at Toys R Us. It was like a free, it was like, the deal was like you buy something and you get this for free, which I don't remember what I bought. I got this with it, but the stickers blocking this is like an issue of Tarzan from, I'm not really sure when, 35 cents, so that's a long time ago, so probably the 60s or early 70s, and an issue of Moon Knight on the back. So that's pretty cool. This is probably the oldest comic book in my collection, and I really like to have a protective case for it, but it unfortunately does not fit into those protective cases I have. And this is an issue of The Phantom. Yeah, that's a old comic book. I'm not sure exactly when, what issue this is, what year, but I would say it's either from the 40s or the 50s. Really old. The pages are kind of yellowed now. This is actually given to me by my uncle. He found kind of a stash of old comic books at his house, and he just gave it to me. Yeah, uncle's rule, definitely. So you can see an old advertisement for like fishing equipment on the back. And let me just flip through some pages. You can see, yeah, it's definitely an older comic book. I really need to get a protective case for it because, like I said, this is the oldest comic book in my collection. Moving on here, we got an issue of Amazing Spider-Man with none other but Barack Obama on the cover. So yeah, I pretty much got this because it does have the president on the cover, and I guess it could be worth something in the future, so having a protective casing. A pretty decent story. I think it's about like the chameleon impersonating the president. I haven't read it in a while, but yeah, so it's cool. It's got the president on the cover. Always nice to have a comic with the president on it. And Spider-Man saying, hey, if you get to be on my cover, can I be on the dollar bill? Oh, Spidey, you. So, anyway, moving on. This is actually one of my signed trade paperbacks. This is Superman, Batman, Absolute Power. And I know it's terrible of me to forget, but I got this signed at the 2011 New Orleans Comic-Con by, I believe, Jesus Marino. I can't really tell by the autograph who it is. I know it's terrible of me to forget. After all, I met the person and got them to sign it. But I'm pretty sure it's not. I know it's not Jeff Loeb, and I'm pretty sure it's not Carlos Pacheco. So I believe it's Jesus Marino, and he was the penciler or the inker for this issue, or this volume. I can't remember which. This is a X-Men comic from the 90s. My favorite era of X-Men comics. Just really love them. Probably because of the cartoon. You see, Bishop versus Gambit. Really cool. So I'm going to try and go through these as fast as I can, because I'll be here forever if I take time to talk extensively about each one. I'll just talk a little bit about the ones that I'm most fond of. So moving here, really cool cover. Ghost Rider. Can Doctor Strange bring Danny back without killing him? So that's cool. Two of my favorite Marvel characters, Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider. Cool. This is another old comic from, probably the 60s, I would venture to say. I think so. So yeah, this is another one of my older comics. This is from the Silver Age of Marvel Feature Presents The Astonishing Ant-Man. I don't know. This might actually be Ant-Man's first appearance. I'm not sure. I will need to check that out. So if you know about that issue, please feel free to tell me. Tarzan presents Edgar Rice Burroughs' Weird Worlds. Enough said. Pretty old, like from the 60s. This is, again, more trade paperbacks. I have Superman Returns and Batman Begins. I just put them together because, Wolverine 1000. I got this at one of the few comic runs I've made to a comic book shop. I don't really have any comic book shops near me. That's why I don't really read consistently comics. I just get the paperbacks whenever they come out. But that's pretty cool. It has some cool stories in it about Wolverine and when he's not part of the X-Men. X-Men Regenesis, which that issue followed the Schism miniseries, where pretty much the X-Men got broken up into two different teams. I know in my words I'm just stumbling over them. Deadpool, I love Deadpool, he's an awesome character. Deadpool versus Cap, that was a nice issue, cool fight and whatnot. Up here we got X Factor from the 80s, I believe, or 80s or 90s. Another issue of X Factor, which I got some of these. I actually got as I found at Marshall's, and they were like all together as part of like some kind of comic book value pack. And it was only like $10. So that's where I got a lot of these 90s comic books, like the X-Men, the 90s X-Men comic. I got that there. Legends of the Dark Knight appears to be from the 80s or the 90s. Probably the 90s. You can see you got an advertisement for Star Trek Next Generation on the back. That's what I really love about old comics, is especially the advertisements. They're just really cool to look at. See what people were interested in buying back then. Comic book from Alien 3, so that's pretty cool. Moving on. We've got Detective Comics, Clayface versus Batman, Part 4. Pretty nice. Fantagraphics, which I got that as a part of, I think it was just, I got them for free when I went to the comic book shop. I'm sorry for the bills. Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that's what it says, Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah. So, this is interesting. It's got this cool foil on the front, which I think looks nice. I don't think I read that issue yet, but yeah, that's something. We have Avengers Annual from 2011. I got this at Barnes & Noble. I read it. It's a pretty good story, actually. It's pretty much like the Avengers versus Wonder Man, as you can tell from the front. Got Iron Man facing off. I can tell that because it has advertisements for like the Amazing Spider-Man and Avengers vs. X-Men and stuff. There we go. Cool. So that's a cool issue. Another one of my older comics, Judo Master versus the Smiling Skull. Yeah, before I saw this comic myself, I wouldn't have believed this was actually real. Yeah. Again, something from either the 50s or the 60s. You can tell by just the age of it. I'd probably say the 60s because of the art style. But anyway, Turok, Son of Stone, another one of my older comics. You can see it's made by the same company as the Phantom comic you saw earlier. I don't think this one is as old as the Phantom, but it might be. You can see it's got the same advertisement on the back, so it's probably actually from the same time. Mystery in Space, which is really cool. Something, an old DC Comics line. It was kind of like science fiction, classic 50s science fiction, you know, a bit cheesy but fun. As I move around, it's getting a little bit hard to move around over here. Let's see. Luke Cage Hero for Hire, 20 cents. It's from the 70s, really cool. Luke Cage is pretty darn awesome, I must say. So, cool issue. An issue of Daredevil. Let's see. Daredevil, I don't know if it has a number on it, but I can see again, 20 cents when comics were 20 cents, if only. Alright. The Man Without Fear. No, don't leap out the window. I'm dying and I'm taking you with me. Dun, dun, dun. Here we have a 90s issue of Batman, Legends of the Dark Knight Family. And you can tell it's got an advertisement for Batman Returns on the back. That's pretty nice. So, cool issue. And let's get. I guess we might as well tackle the stack now. Issue of Batman Gotham Knights number 8, October 2000. Let's see. It's what's Batman doing? He's like incapacitating Catwoman. What's the mystery? So that's a cool story. I've had this comic for a long time. Superman, April Fools. It's got Bizarro in it. One of my favorite Superman villains. He's just really fun. This is a run. I'm really proud of this. Is the first issue trade paperback of Batman, the Batman Adventures Mad Love, which great story. I highly recommend you read it. I think it's been reissued as a trade paperback that you can buy now in comic book shops and online. I'm sure you can find it. But I'm really proud to have the first issue of that from the 90s. And this is definitely something that I'm going to get if I ever meet Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy, or Arlene Sorkin. I'm going to get them to sign this. It's just seems like it'd be a really good item to get signed. I'm not sure if this is a reissue or not, but it's an issue of Batman with the Scarecrow in it. I'm pretty sure it's a reissue because it's got blacked out there. So yeah, I don't know. But it's a cool issue. I've read the story. It's really kind of disturbing, you know, but Scarecrow is always disturbing. Teen Titans Go. I was a really big fan of the show when it came out. It wasn't as good as, like, Batman the Animated Series, obviously, but it was a lot of fun. And this is one of my favorite villains from the show, Mumbo Jumbo, partially because he reminded me of the Joker, just the way he looks. But it was a fun show. This is, like, part of a public safety kind of, you know, public education, I guess, Marvel comic. It's about, it's got this villain Smokescreen, and it's talking about the dangers of smoking, and telling the back. Storm, Spider-Man, and Luke Cage all telling you not to smoke, so that's all good. Another issue of Teen Titans Go, Beast Boy, and Bark at the Moon. Another issue of Teen Titans Go with Speedy, Green Arrow's sidekick. Batman Shadow of the Bat, Prodigal, number 6. Very cool comic. Got nice artwork on the front. I really like the artwork. X-Men 2, the official comic book adaptation. That's pretty nice. had this since the movie came out. I really like these comic book adaptations. It was kind of something that we did, me and my family, that when there was a new comic book movie out, we'd go see the movie, and then we'd go to the local comic book shop and get the comic book adaptation. That's back when I actually lived near a comic book shop, but that's pretty cool. Again, another comic book adaptation of Hulk. That's the 2001, not the 2008 one. So, you know, the movie obviously was not that great, but, you know, it's got some nice artwork and stuff. Don't let this fool you, this is not a Silver Age comic. This is actually from the early 2000s, just stylized to make it look like a Silver Age comic. Unfortunately, the cover is kind of torn, you can see. But you can tell it's got Toonami, so it's not obviously from the 50s or 60s. But it's a good story, with the classic Teen Titans, Robin, Kid Flash, Speedy, Aqualad, and Wonder Girl. Cool. Issue of Superboy, 0 Hour. I haven't read this in a long time either. Batman Arkham City, I got this for free with my pre-order of Arkham City when it came out, but it's a nice comic book. It kind of establishes some backstory to the game, so you know what happens, what was going on leading up to it. We got like Mad Hatter and stuff. Pretty much you just follow some of the villains in the game, like Hugo Strange and Riddler. So not bad, especially if you like the game. And another issue of Teen Titans Go with Aqualad. Going on to the next stack, we got Muppets Take Manhattan, comic book adaptation, which is pretty funny stuff. I got this as part of like a lot at Comic-Con. You just like paid $5 to spin the wheel. If you saw my Comic-Con haul video, then you know about these. Pretty much just the stack of comics you got. So, it's got some highlight issues, you know, Hulk thing, Hard Knocks. But a lot of it is just kind of average, mediocre stuff. Death's Head. Super Pro, I guess. But anyway, that's cool. Nope, slide over now. This is another really cool comic, a vintage issue of the Avengers from the 70s, I believe. Just by the hairstyles and the art. Let's see, Power Pack. Maybe it's the early 80s, not quite sure. But, it's in his Iron Man's still in his gold armor. I don't know how old this. Might be older than I even knew. Maybe early 70s? I'm not sure. So if you know what time this issue is from, please tell me. I'd be interested in finding out how old this issue is. This is X-Men, the movie, the first one, this comic book adaptation. Not a lot to talk about there. Let's see, DC Secret Origins of Supervillains, like Teen Titans or Justice League, and you learn about Penguin and Captain Boomerang and other villains, the Parasite. So cool stuff. Small comic. This is one of my signed Star Wars comics. This is my only signed Star Wars comic, signed by Ray Park, who played Darth Maul. So really happy with that. I got this at this past New Orleans Comic-Con I'm also really proud of, and that is Venom Lethal Protector Part 1 of 6, signed by the artist himself, Sam De La Rosa. You can see that he really cool. He drew Venom on the cover with the Sharpie. It looks really nice. So yeah, this is probably my favorite just single issue comic because of the artist signed it and he did it so cool. And it's got this cool foil on it. I'm really proud to have that in my collection. And if I was going to say my favorite comic book overall, including like trade paperbacks, it would have to be the Marvel Masterworks Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, which I got signed by Stan the Man himself, Stan Lee. There we go, right there, Stan Lee. Yeah, really awesome. I've now met Stan Lee on two occasions. I've talked to him a little bit. Really, really cool guy. Just nice as can be. Really awesome. He loves Marvel and meeting fans and talking about Spider-Man and stuff. Just really cool guy. This is a thicker comic. I believe this is Spider-Man's. Let's see, it's what collects the Amazing Spider-Man numbers 1 through 10 and Amazing Fantasy number 15. So that's like roughly the first 10 issues of Spider-Man. So really cool. Really glad I got Stan Lee to sign that. This is probably one of my proudest items in my collection overall, including toys and everything. Just to have a Spider-Man comic signed by Stan Lee is just really happy with that. So yeah, that took a while, but we got through my comic book collection. So yeah. Again, like I said, not the greatest in the world, but I am proud of it. It's good enough for me. I'm happy with all the signed comics I have. I got Transformers here, and then going back to the Venom over there, and Spider-Man. So yeah, I'm proud of my comic book collection. Tell me what you guys think. And again, if you want to join the contest, I'll have a link in the description below for the contest video if you're thinking about entering and winning some cool comic books. So thank you guys for watching as always. This is Joe Gaffett, signing out. Bye.